evening, everyone. Welcome to ACAA men's basketball action. Just getting set to introduce the starters for the visiting Crandall University Chargers. Getting set to face off against the hometown Holland College Hurricanes. Both teams coming into this one at 2-4. Holland College coming off a win last week at Kings. Crandall coming off a loss to Mount St. Vincent a week ago. As we get set to introduce the starters for Holland College, including the fourth leading scorer in the conference, Spencer Rossiter, and the third leading scorer in the conference, Zach Dawkins. Lots of noteworthy players in this game and at the top, at or near the top of the leaderboard in some categories. We're going to see the top 2 3-point shooters by percentage in this game. Jaden Lucas for Crandall shooting 10 for 16 for 62.5%. And Owen Parsons, the big man for Holland College, 8 for 13, 61.5%. They rank first and second in the conference, respectively, in that category. Mentioned Rossiter and Dawkins. We're going to talk more about them probably a lot as this game goes on, especially as it relates to the matchup against Crandall. Charles McKenna won the tip for Crandall, and Darrell Bedminster forces a turnover. Almost, but Crandall gets it back. That's Colby McIntosh into the corner. Step back three. That's no good for Caleb Rennie. And Holland College with a stop defensively to start. Here's Bedminster for three. Off the rim. Parsons with the rebound and the putback for an early Hurricane lead. Here's Dave Hutton. Gets over to Ethan Culberson. Into the corner for McIntosh. Hutton now. Fade away. Off balance shot there. Nice shot by Dave Hutton. Second-year player from Montreal. Ties this game up in the opening minute. Bedminster sees a lane, takes it, gets the floater to go over Rennie. Now it's Culberson back the other way. Fourth-year player from New Brunswick. Down low, that's Hutton, lost the handle on it, and it's out of bounds. Couldn't handle the feed from McKenna. And the Hurricanes with a 2-point lead will take control. Here's Bedminster to Rossiter. Rossiter sees a lane, takes it, gets a friendly roll. And Rossiter takes advantage of an open lane to extend the lead to 4. McIntosh from the corner of the key. Stolen there by Rossiter, gets it ahead to Tomlinson. Tomlinson gets around Culberson and gets it to go. And a quick timeout by Crandall, a minute 44 in. The Hurricanes storming out to an 8-2 lead early on. And I mentioned we'd be talking lots about Rossiter and Dawkins. This is the last game before Christmas for both of these teams. Very first game of the regular season. These two teams played against each other in Moncton. That was a 100-99 Crandall victory. Rossiter had 33 points and Dawkins had 30 in the loss for Holland College. So if this game's anything like that one, we're in for a really exciting pre-Christmas finale here. But the Hurricanes so far have other plans. Again, out to an 8-2 lead thanks to a couple of quick turnovers forced in the defensive zone. And it will be Crandall ball coming out of the timeout. And this is Hutton. Puts it over to Culberson. Bounce pass to Rennie. Rennie kicks it out to Hutton. Hutton, quick three. Can't cut into the lead. Rossiter with the rebound. And Rossiter lost the handle on it, turns it over. And Rennie, as Rossiter got a hand in there. Not sure who they're calling the foul. It looks like they're going to call the foul on Rossiter. Looked like he got all ball getting the hand in there, but it's his first foul of the game, the first foul of the game for either team. Or for Holland College, excuse me. Hutton for Culberson. Culberson, screen set by McKenna. Wanted the pick and roll. Couldn't find him. Now it's Caleb Rennie. Rennie, and we're going to get a moving screen called on Charles McKenna. 6'6" Halifax native. So Crandall unable to capitalize on their possession after the call on Rossiter. Bedminster. Into the paint for Tomlinson. Tomlinson battling Colby McIntosh. Nice fadeaway there by Tomlinson. And Jareel Tomlinson, the rookie from Ajax, making his mark early in this one. It's a 10-2 Holland College lead. McKenna to Rennie. Rennie over to McIntosh for three. Colby McIntosh rattled around the rim. Can't get it to drop, and now it's Bedminster and Rossiter going back the other way for the Hurricanes. Rossiter slowing things down. Screen set by Parsons. Into the corner for Dawkins. Long range two. That's no good. Parsons battling for the rebound. And stepped on the baseline as he was trying to keep it in play. Hutton and Culberson taking handoffs from each other there, and McIntosh now takes the handoff. Wanted Hutton cutting in deep, but good defensive presence there by Zach Dawkins to prevent the pass from even coming. And now it's Rennie driving the lane, loses the handle on it. We're going to get a foul called. And it's going to be on Tomlinson. They're calling head contact. Holland College graduated several starting players from last year's team. Dawkins, the lone starter on the court, who was a starter a year ago. Parsons and Rossiter played primarily off the bench for the duration of the season. But Rossiter certainly has inserted himself into the starting lineup in a big way in the first half of the ACAA schedule. Bedminster to Rossiter to Parsons. Back up for Rossiter. Quick release on the three. Spencer Rossiter for three extends the lead. Right on cue, and Rossiter and Tomlinson force the turnover, and Jareel Tomlinson with authority on the break. It's an 11-point Holland College lead. Crandall desperate to get anything going. Here's Dave Hutton for three. There's a good way to answer. Quiets the crowd for a moment, does Dave Hutton. Now here's Bedminster with speed. Can't get the layup to go. Now it's Culberson quickly the other way for Crandall. Culberson bumped there by Rossiter, and that'll be the second foul assessed to the Summerside native, Spencer Rossiter. And Culberson will go to the line for two, with subs coming in for both sides. And Rossiter with two fouls early here in the first quarter. Culberson nothing but net on the first one. Chipping away at this lead. 15-4 just moments ago. And Culberson quickly makes it a 6-point game. And again, it was a 1-point game the last time these two teams played in the very first game of the year. Bedminster goes up with it. Tomlinson to Tomlinson for the finish. Restores an 8-point lead. Hutton directing traffic, gets it down low. There's the leading 3-point shooter in the ACAA. Misses his first attempt of the game. And quickly up ahead goes Holland College. Tomlinson with it at the free throw line. Turns it over to Culberson. And that's going to be, we're going to wait and see what the call is going to be. We're just going to call it a hit. I was waiting to see if they were going to call it an intentional foul. Just a shooting foul on Bedminster. And Culberson continues his soft touch at the free throw line. He's 3 for 3 from there already today. And very calmly goes 4 for 4. Again, they're slowly chipping away at what was an 11-point lead down to 6. It's Tomlinson, that's Jason Tomlinson, draws a foul. It's going to be on Jaden Lucas. Jaden Lucas from Lucasville, Nova Scotia. As here's Tomlinson taking the inbound pass and called for the travel. I wondered if they were going to call him for one the last time he touched the ball, but it was a foul instead. Caught that time, and now Crandall with another opportunity to try and chip into this lead. Here's Lucas, and Lucas gets called for a travel that time. Now this is Fabian Colley into the game as Jareel Tomlinson will take a well-deserved break. Tomlinson's been all over the court in the opening stages of this one. Bedminster leaves it for Khalil Smith. Over to Dawkins. Dawkins, quick feet and release on the three. Can't get it to drop. And Crandall comes away with the rebound. That's Lucas. Lucas goes up for the layup, takes a lot of contact, and we're going to get a foul called on Zach Dawkins. Never a surprise to see Dawkins in the middle of all the action. And Holland already at the bonus mark. 5 fouls in the quarter, 4:22 left. So Jaden Lucas, 1 for 1 from the line. Believe it or not, that's Jaden Lucas' first free throw of the season. And he's 100% on the season from the free throw mark as he goes 2 for 2. And it's now a 4-point Holland College lead. Dawkins almost lost the handle on it, gets it back. Does lose the handle on it that time, but they're going to call a foul. I believe on Culberson. No, it's going to be on Dave Hutton, excuse me. Culberson was also in the area. And Jason Tomlinson getting a talking to from the official here. Wonder if maybe he was just moving before they blew the play in. Bounce pass inbound to Bedminster. Bedminster. And that's out of the reach of Zach Dawkins. And Bedminster's going to get subbed out in favor of Vashon Ford. And here's Hutton with it for the Chargers. Watched very closely by Dawkins. Gets it over to Culberson. Culberson, fade away, spins and shoots. And all of a sudden, this lead is down to 2 for the Hurricanes. Here's Ford with it. Corner of the three-point line. Ford just lost the handle on it. And that's going to be an unforced error, turnover. And Holland College will call a timeout. So again, Holland College led at 1 point, 15-4. It's an 11-2 run that the Chargers are on right now. 3.5 minutes to go before the end of the first quarter. Getting set to rejoin the action. Again, 3:31 left for the quarter break. Crandall with the ball in the defensive zone. And just as a reminder, these two teams played first game of the season in a 1-point Crandall victory in Moncton. Here's Culberson for three, and just like that, Crandall takes the lead. Ethan Culberson from the corner gives Crandall their first lead of the game after being down 11, and that's the second travel called on Jason Tomlinson in the quarter. And momentum fully on Crandall's side right now. As here's Culberson to Lucas. Lucas calmly, and the league's leading three-point shooter 0 for 2 so far early. This is Colley. Almost had his pocket picked by McIntosh. They're going to call a foul. First foul of the game on McIntosh. 2:49 left in the first quarter. Crandall up 1 after being down 11. And Dawkins, that pass was behind him, but he did well to recover. Now he'll go up for three, and Dawkins gives the Hurricanes the lead right back with a quick release three-pointer. As the team's now going back and forth, as that is off of Colley. First-year player from Halifax. Fabian Colley knocked that out of bounds. So 15 seconds on the shot clock for Crandall to work with. Hutton back for Culberson. Can't go back-to-back from beyond the arc. And Dawkins, looked like that went off of someone's foot. McIntosh will be called for the charge. As teams making substitutions here. And looking at the replay up in our broadcast area, it looked like Colley's feet were definitely planted, but also looked like Dawkins just put that off his own foot. And that's why he lost the handle on it approaching half court. Dawkins behind the back on Hutton. He'll go up with a jumper. Gets the hometown roll. Sends the lead back to 4. And that's going to be a travel assessed to Jack Way. Second-year player from Quispamsis, just outside St. John. Dawkins ahead for the Hurricanes. Lost the handle on it, and that's going to be Crandall ball. certainly looked like Dawkins just lost control of it on his own, trying to switch hands or cross over Dave Hutton. As Hutton goes back and forth with Dawkins. That's Rennie with it. Rennie has his pocket picked. Way does well to get the ball back. And the shot clock reset. I don't think it should have, and I think that's why the officials stopped the play. And we're going to get 10 seconds put back on the shot clock. And trio of starters coming back into the game for Holland College, and Dawkins getting a talking to by the official. Dawkins always seems to be right in the middle of seemingly everything that goes on in any game. Good battle developing between him and Hutton, but Dawkins will take a quick break. Minute 16 left before quarter break as Rennie spins and shoots. That's off the back of the rim, and Smith collects the rebound for the Hurricanes. Bedminster up ahead quickly. That looked like it was off of Jack Way. Home crowd doesn't like the call, but they're going to say it's straight off Bedminster and out. Crandall with a minute left in the quarter. Hutton. It's Jaden Johnson, leaves it for Way. Jack Way thought about a three-pointer. Johnson thought about a three-pointer, and it's another travel. Might be the 6th travel call we've had in the quarter between the two teams. Smith down low for Parsons. Parsons in on Johnson, gets the roll over the rim. 35 seconds left in the quarter. Holland up 6. Way over to Lucas. Lucas gets it around Rossiter to Rennie. Nice pass there by Jaden Lucas. Rennie trying to outweight Colley. Gets the shot up, but it's over the net. Now Khalil Smith with 12 seconds to go in the quarter. Bumped there by Rennie, and we're going to get a foul called. So Khalil Smith's going to go to the line for 2 as Caleb Rennie just a little too aggressive on the defense there. And 9.8 seconds in the quarter. We're going to get a pair of subs from Crandall. Seeing their first action now are Bryson Clark and Harper Kopp. Smith misses the first free throw. Again, 9.8 seconds left, so still time for whichever team takes control after this shot. And after the miss, it's going to be Crandall. As Smith goes 0 for 2, and now Caleb Rennie back the other way into the corner. Harper Kopp misses the three-point shot at the end of the quarter. And so after being up 11 and then down 1, Holland with a 6-point lead going into quarter time. Jaden Johnson. We'll take a very quick break for a couple of minutes. About a three-pointer. Johnson and rejoin you very shortly for the second quarter. It's another travel.
Might be the Holland College with a stop defensively to start. Here's Bedminster for 3 off the rim. Parsons with the
And welcome back after that quick break. Second quarter, moments away from getting underway. And Holland College with a 6-point lead. And close games between these two teams are things that we've come to expect in the last couple of years. Recall a game, I believe it was 2 years ago between these two teams in which they combined for something in between 25 and 33 pointers between the two teams. And Parsons battling with Jaden Johnson down low, and the jump ball will go to Crandall early here in the second quarter. Jareel Tomlinson with 8 points leads the Hurricanes. Ethan Culberson with 9 leads the Chargers through the opening 10 minutes. And here's Caleb Rennie. Gets around a couple of players, gets it into Harper Kopp. Kopp gets it over to Jaden Johnson. Johnson back up top. Bryson Clark down low. That's Johnson. Baseline 2. Made that one look easy. And Darrell Bedminster will look to answer for Holland. Gives it to Dawkins. Into the corner for their leading scorer, Jareel Tomlinson. Leading scorer in this game. Parsons for 3. Off the front of the rim, and Jack Way takes the rebound. Out of harm's way for Crandall. Dishes it to Caleb Rennie. Rennie. Long range 2. That's missed by Clark, and quickly up ahead for Dawkins. He's 1 on 5. Gets it back to Rossiter. Fakes the shot. Now gets it over to Bedminster. He'll take a 3 off the back of the rim, and it's Way again. Second time in a row. He takes the rebound away easily. Now Jaden Johnson. And I'm not sure about that one. Bedminster did really well to sell it. A veteran move by Darrell Bedminster. Definitely some contact initiated by Jaden Johnson. Just wasn't sure if Bedminster's feet were set. Either way, Holland will take possession. Hand off to Rossiter. Rossiter with speed. Lost the handle. Gets it back to Dawkins for 3. And Holland struggling from beyond the arc here early in the second quarter. Way lost the handle, but Rennie's right there, and we're going to get a foul called on Rossiter. That's going to be the 3rd on Rossiter in this game. He doesn't like the call, and I don't blame him. He was just going for the ball, so any contact would have been inadvertent. But either way, Rossiter now sitting at 3 fouls. A minute 39 into the second quarter, so be interesting to see how Holland College manages his minutes the rest of this game. Really important player for Holland College is Spencer Rossiter. Again, 33 points in the first game against Crandall. Bedminster gets it to Tomlinson for 3, and Jareel Tomlinson continues his strong offensive game. And Rossiter, beneficiary of a bad pass there. And quickly the other way, Tomlinson again draws the foul. Bryson Clark and Dawkins. And we're going to get a technical being assessed to the Holland College bench. And a second technical, I believe, to Dawkins. Once again, Dawkins right in the middle of everything. He was mixing it up with Bryson Clark. And the officials just directing both teams to their bench as things getting chippy here. No question that it was a foul on the shot attempt by Tomlinson. Definitely a foul there. And then not sure who on the bench. Maybe one of the assistant coaches for Holland taking the technical. The officials still talking amongst themselves here. And again, waiting to see who all of these technicals are on. Again, looking at the slow motion replay in our booth, we're about to get the calls here. Initial foul is on Bryson Clark. And it's a bench technical on Holland. And Clark will be the guilty party on the second technical. So Jarrell Tomlinson, out of all that, I think is going to get at least a couple of free throws. I think it's on one of the Holland College assistant coaches, the bench technical. So Tomlinson taking his free throws, misses. Seems to be a lot of confusion on the part of both teams about everything that happened there. And out of all of that, Jarrell Tomlinson will get 2 points. That's copped away around the world to Rennie. Rennie into the corner. Jaden Johnson for three. That's well off the mark. And that's off of Jack Way and out of bounds. And Dawkins does well to get the pass off to Tomlinson, but he's called for the travel. And Dawkins slow to get up after the collision down underneath the basket. And here's Dave Hutton. Gets it to Rennie. Rennie gets the pass back. Miscommunication there with Kopp. And Hutton spins in the paint. Off balance, hook shot by Dave Hutton. Circus shot there. Cuts the lead down to 6. Fabian Colley, watched there by Kopp. Parsons, he turns by the hoop. Can't get the basket. Jaden Johnson, strong rebound there. Rennie, up top, almost out of the reach of Culberson, who lines up a long three. Follows his own rebound, though, and promptly turns it over. Bounced it right into the chest of Bedminster. As that pass, too hot for Fabian Colley to handle. And the Hurricanes turn it over, so Crandall down 6, just over 6 minutes to go before halftime. A frenetic pace here in the second quarter. Culberson to Hutton in the middle. Hutton jumps from the corner of the key, and Dave Hutton is heating up for the Chargers. Bedminster to Colley, into the corner for Jarrell Tomlinson. Back for Colley. Colley gets to the free throw line, dishes it back to Bedminster. Bedminster down low, bounced right to Dawkins, gets it back for Parsons. Nice move at midair. Couldn't get the hoop to go, though. And now it's Hutton with the hot hand. Thought about a three, gets it to Caleb Rennie, who deposits a three-pointer And it's a 1-point game. Almost halfway through the second quarter. Zach Dawkins. Great battle developing here between Dawkins and Hutton as Dawkins gets another good hometown roll. That matchup is a fun one. Zach Dawkins and Dave Hutton. Dawkins looks like he's wincing a little bit, maybe from the spill he took a couple minutes ago. Caleb Rennie again for 3. Good rebound there by Fabian Colley off the miss by Rennie. Bedminster with it. Up top for Dawkins. Switches again with Bedminster. Bedminster for Dawkins, in and out of his hands. And I think Dawkins might be a little more shaken up than he initially let on. He'll take a couple of minutes of rest and recovery on the training table. Khalil Smith and Nehemiah Arnold into the game for Holland College. Hutton looking to attack the fresh legs. Bounce pass just behind Kopp. And Smith hands that calmly to Bedminster. Bedminster quickly into the paint. Layup doesn't go. Colley there to tip it home. And once again, Holland up by 5. Kopp muscles his way in, gets the hoop and the harm, as he caught Nehemiah Arnold off balance. And Harper Kopp, the rookie from Victoria, BC, making an impact here halfway through the second quarter. He has a chance to make this a 2-point game. Misses the free throw though. And Arnold will come back the other way for the Hurricanes. Leaves it for Bedminster. And interesting call there. They're calling Arnold for a moving screen as he was handing the ball off. I don't think I've seen that one before. Caleb Rennie will take possession for Crandall. And Rennie tried to get it into the middle for McKenna. We're going to get an offensive foul. I think that was called on Rennie. I missed the number that the official gave. It is on Rennie. And Rennie's going to get calmed down by the official here. Khalil Smith with it in the corner. Bedminster almost lost his balance. Don't know how he kept his footing there, but it's Tomlinson who turns it over, and now Rennie back the other way for Crandall. Leaves it for Hutton. Hutton, and yeah, that's definitely a reach on Fabian Colley. And he'll get subbed out now. Oh. Never mind, it's going to be Nehemiah Arnold getting subbed out. Jesse Dalrymple into the game. Both teams sitting at 4 fouls now, so the next foul by each team will put them into the bonus. So there's Dave Hutton again for 3. That was off the mark, and Colley hands the rebound to Bedminster. Up ahead quickly for Colley, and it's another travel call. Not sure how many we're up to in this game between the two teams, but it's a lot. And in a 3-point game, Holland up 32-29. Dave Hutton, who's had the hot hand in the second quarter, gives it to McKenna. McKenna for Hutton. Hutton leaves it for Jaden Lucas. Lucas drives the lane. Nice move there by Jaden Lucas to get around a couple of Hurricane defenders, and it's a 1-point Hurricane lead. Bedminster Looking for something to develop. Now sees a lane, takes it. Can't get the layup to go, though, and it's Lucas again back quickly the other way for the Chargers. Charles McKenna was wide open underneath the basket, but nobody saw him. It is going to be a block called on Jesse Dalrymple. And that will mean Dave Hutton, Montreal native, will go to the line for 2 with 2.5 minutes to go before halftime. And Hutton ties this game up. And if he makes this, we'll give Crandall another lead. And does just that. And we'll get a timeout called by Holland College. Holland College led by as much as 11 in the first quarter. But now are, for the second time, find themselves down 1. Good back and forth action here in the second quarter when early in the first couple minutes it looked like Holland College was just going to run away with this one, but they made some substitutions and Crandall clawed their way back by virtue of a handful of good free throws. And now the benefit of the bonus again for the last 2.5 minutes of the first half. Dave Hutton with 11 points in this game. Jareel Tomlinson with 12 for Holland College. Neither team really running away with any of the statistical categories so far. Worth noting, Crandall, their bench outscoring the Hurricane bench by a margin of 8-2. And for those of you who tuned into the women's game earlier, that was the difference in the game as Holland College got 27 off the bench compared to 2 for Crandall in a 26-point victory. Here's Bedminster into the corner. That's Khalil Smith for 3 off the front of the rim. And Dave Hutton back the other way. Back for Jaden Lucas. Lucas thought about driving in, now leaves it back for Culberson. Culberson's had a strong first half of this game as well. Lucas, nice patience there by Jaden Lucas. And Crandall, now lead by 3. Colley for Bedminster. Colley into the middle for Jareel Tomlinson. Tomlinson from the corner, not enough on it, and that's a foul there on Khalil Smith. Definitely did not look intentional, but definitely made contact as he ran into Ethan Culberson. And Culberson will once again go to the line to shoot 2 with a 3-point lead, so can make this as much as a 5-point deficit that the Holland College Hurricanes are going to have to climb out of going into halftime. Culberson made that one interesting, but got it to drop. 2 for 2 again goes Culberson. And Crandall now leads by 5. Dalrymple back over to Bedminster. Colley up top again. Bedminster for 3, looking to cut into the lead. Can't get it to go. Good rebound there by Jason Tomlinson. Back up top to Bedminster. He'll step up to the 3-point line, dish it off to Colley. His 3-point shot is well off the mark. Dalrymple goes up. And we're going to get a foul for head contact called on Charles McKenna. And it looked like he got the all ball with the right arm, but the left arm might have come in for a little bit of contact to the back of the head of Jesse Dalrymple. And they're going to redo the shot as McKenna was still getting set in the rebounding position of the key. So doesn't make a difference to Crandall, though, as Dalrymple unable to get the hometown roll around the rim that time. 1:16 to go before halftime. Dalrymple makes good on the second attempt, and we're going to get a quick substitution here. Full court press being applied by Holland College. Crandall Chargers break it. Hutton thought about a three, gets it to Jack Way. He thought about a three. Now he'll take a floater from the free throw line. That misses, and Holland College down 4 with a minute to go before halftime. They're going to take their time, set up an offense. Dalrymple, long range three. Jesse Dalrymple capitalizes on that, and it's a 1-point game. Jaden Lucas now looking to answer for Crandall. He goes up with an off-balance shot. That's well off the mark. Parsons with the rebound. It's up ahead quickly to Tomlinson. Bedminster. About a 7-second difference between shot clock and game clock now. Dalrymple again for three. That's blocked that time right into the hands of Owen Parsons. And he puts it home to give the lead back to Holland College. But here's Jaden Lucas, the leading three-point shooter in the ACAA. Will likely give Crandall the lead as Bedminster shot just off the front of the rim. Frantic back and forth action in the last few moments of action in the first half. And out of all of that, Crandall will go into the break with a 40-38 lead. Impressive after being down by 11 in the first quarter. And we'll see what kind of action we have in store for us in the second half. When we return from the halftime break, we'll step aside for a few minutes and rejoin you live from Charlottetown for the second half of action. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Getting set to start the second half. Holland College trails 40-38 at the break, despite having an 11-point lead at one point in the first quarter. Crandall led by as much as 5 late in the second quarter before the teams just trading blows in the final few seconds of the first half. Some key statistics from the first 20 minutes of play. Dave Hutton and Ethan Culberson each with 11 points for Crandall. Culberson is 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Jareel Tomlinson, 12 points for Holland College. That is the game high. And Holland College out-rebounding Crandall 20-13 through the first 20 minutes of play. Ray Perkin on the call, and Jordy Caraher running the controls up here in our broadcast center located directly above your camera view. We're located on the second floor of the McMillan Center for Community Engagement on the walking track above the gymnasium surface as we are underway now in the second half. Spencer Rossiter, keep an eye on him. He's got 3 fouls. So we'll see how they manage his minutes as that pass. Miscommunication there with Owen Parsons as the Hurricanes can't capitalize on their opening possession of the half. And you can see Rossiter backing off. Again, he's a veteran player. He knows his foul situation as that's Rennie. Rebounded there by Parsons. Rossiter gets it around Culberson. Almost went out of bounds right into the Crandall bench, but Tomlinson has it in the far corner. It's a nice spin move there on Colby McIntosh. And that's out of bounds. McIntosh only played 8 minutes in the first half. Uncharacteristic minutes for McIntosh, one of the key players for Crandall, yet to make any impact on the score sheet. Culberson takes the pass from Hutton, gets it to McIntosh, and can't make that 3-point attempt drop. And now it's Bedminster looking to answer for Holland College, maybe tie this game up. And Rossiter, and it's a late foul call. I thought they were just going to call out of bounds, but it's a delayed call on the foul. It's going to be on Dave Hutton, second foul of the game on him. And Jordy informing me, watching the replay, that there definitely was some contact made. And Rossiter at the top of the three-point line was going to take a shot but lost the handle, gets it over to Tomlinson. That's off the back of the rim. Parsons mistimed his jump, but it's off of, I think, McKenna and out of play. Parsons backs into the paint and ties the game up as Crandall quickly back down into the offensive zone. No look bounce pass from Rennie. That misses, and we're going to get a foul called, I think, on the initial shot attempt by Culberson. Second foul on Zach Dawkins. And Culberson restores the lead for the Chargers. And he is now 8 for 8 from the free throw line, so maybe not a guy you want to foul, especially if the game continues to be as tight as it is right now. Dawkins into the corner, just out of the reach of Rossiter. Pass just off the mark there. And Crandall can extend their lead. They've only led by as many as 5 points. Turned over there by Rennie as Parsons got a hand up. Now Dawkins uncontested to the rim. And he puts it home, and the game is now tied once again. Tomlinson almost got his long reach in that passing lane. McIntosh in and out of the hands of Charles McKenna. And the game remains tied as Holland can now retake the lead. Parsons with it down low. You got to think that's a matchup that Holland wants to keep going back to. Parsons has about 3 inches on Jaden Johnson, and forces a turnover there, got the hand in as the pass was coming into Colby McIntosh, and now Jareel Tomlinson, he'll pull up for 2, and Holland extends the lead. That pass went right past the ear of Jaden Johnson. Now Rennie, here's Hutton, thought about a 3-point shot, McIntosh, back for Rennie. Dances around Bedminster, but can't get around Parsons, and now Johnson puts it home. And it's a 2-point Holland lead again. Bedminster directing traffic, bounce pass, great pass into Rossiter. Rossiter doesn't like that it's going to be Crandall ball. He thinks it was off of Culberson. Couldn't see from our vantage point quite who had last touch, but the referee right on the floor ruled Crandall ball. Now Hutton goes behind the back. Guarded very closely by Bedminster. Now here's Culberson, and he's going to get called for a travel. We saw quite a few of those in the first half. Turnovers 14-9, Holland being the higher number in the first half. And I mentioned in the first half, keep an eye on this battle between Hutton and Dawkins. Hutton, not a very vocal player, but his demeanor does a lot of speaking for him. As Rossiter goes in, he gets the basket. Opens up another 4-point Holland lead. Hutton quickly over to McIntosh for 3. Off the rim, and that's off of Jaden Johnson and out of bounds. Just under 4 minutes into the second half. Rossiter leaves it for Dawkins. Right back into the corner. Rossiter corner 3. Can't get the hometown bounce there. And Crandall quickly up ahead once again. Culberson, Jaden Johnson top of the key. Now he drives in, and Jaden Johnson, offensive catalyst right now for the Crandall Chargers. He's got 4 of their 6 points in the quarter. Rossiter from the corner of the key off the backboard, can't get it to drop, and Culberson has to fend off Dawkins before getting the pass up to Dave Hutton. He'll reset it to the top for Rennie. Johnson leaves it for Culberson. Culberson over to McIntosh. McIntosh gets around Bedminster. Blocked there by Owen Parsons. Dawkins, great hands pulling that pass in. Now he'll get it back to Bedminster. Rossiter from the corner. No good, and Rossiter struggling to find his groove here in the second half. Rossiter sat most of the second quarter after getting into foul trouble. We're wondering if that's affecting his long-range shot at all. Rennie bumping there with Dawkins, and Rennie puts it home. And it's a tie game, 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Rossiter now for 3 off the side of the rim again. Credit to Rossiter for not quitting on that long-range shot of his. It's one of his strengths when he's hot. McIntosh lost the handle on it, gets it back, puts it at the feet of Culberson. He gets around Rossiter, gets around Dawkins. What a move by Ethan Culberson. As Crandall retakes the lead, teams jockeying back and forth on the scoreboard here in the third quarter, as they tend to do when these two teams play historically over the last number of years. Lots of tight matchups. Rossiter crosses over, gets to Parsons. Dawkins for three at the shot clock buzzer, can't get it to drop. Hutton shaken up on the play. And we'll get subs for both teams there. Didn't quite see what happened to Hutton. And after looking at the replay, I'm still not 100% sure what happened. Looked like he was trying to box out a much larger Owen Parsons. Jack Way into the game for Crandall, leaves it for Rennie. Rennie bodies Tomlinson, and Tomlinson outweighted Rennie. Alley-oop attempt there, no good, and it's off of off of Jaden Johnson and out of bounds. Dawkins was looking for an alley-oop to Jason Tomlinson, but there were a number of Crandall Chargers in the area. Inbound to Khalil Smith. Here's Tomlinson to Dawkins. Gets it back to Jareel Tomlinson. Into the corner for Dawkins. Baseline jumper, no good. Smith battling for the rebound, and it's Jack Way who comes away with it for Crandall. He had 3 defensive rebounds in the first half on very similar plays. Now here's Hutton. Long range three, Dave Hutton off the back of the rim. Johnson can't quite corral the rebound, maybe a little too cavalier with it. And we're gonna get a foul called on Darrell Bedminster. I thought we were gonna get a jump ball called, but it's Darrell Bedminster getting called for the foul. Bedminster doesn't like the call. Bedminster might have been in there with a little bit of a reach upon replay video review. Culberson spins and shoots. That's off the mark. Way with another rebound. That's 5 now off the bench for Jack Way. Shot clock winding down. Here's Jaden Lucas. And that's interesting. I think we had 2 officials going to make 2 different calls. It's going to be a foul on Bedminster for the block. The shot will count. And on review, it definitely seemed like Bedminster had his feet planted. It looked like the near official was signaling or about to signal for a charge. Lucas can't complete the 3-point play, and it remains a 4-point Crandall lead. Dawkins goes behind the back for Bedminster. Off the back of the rim, and Culberson quickly ahead to Johnson. Bounce pass in for Jack Way. Nice feed to Ethan Culberson. What a nice pass by Jack Way. And we're going to get a delay of game warning assessed to Crandall. Six-point lead for the Chargers now. Under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Shot by Colley off the mark. Looked like he might have taken some contact. Nice effort by Bedminster to get it back. And Darrell Bedminster puts it home to cut the lead to 4. Culberson directs traffic. Caleb Rennie now. Jump shot from the corner of the key. That's well off the mark. Not sure if Bedminster got a hand in there or not. And we're going to get an offensive foul assessed to Khalil Smith. Looking at the replay, it doesn't look like Way's feet were planted, but Smith might have just been a little too enthusiastic with that offhand getting into the grill of Jack Way. And Crandall up 4 with just over a minute left in the third quarter and possession. Jaden Lucas, he'll go up with it again, and dangerous play there. A couple players came down on Fabian Colley, and that time Bedminster successfully draws the charge on Jaden Lucas. Exactly 1 minute left in the quarter. A lot of action to talk about here. Teams going back and forth, fouls at both ends. Controversial calls and non-calls. Dawkins in on Lucas. He goes up with a floater that's nowhere near the mark, and McIntosh takes the rebound for Crandall. Thought McIntosh might just pull up for a 3 there, but decides to slow things down in the final minute. Jack Way gets it to McIntosh, changes direction on Bedminster, and again, Rossiter. It's a veteran move by him knowing the situation, but you wonder if that foul trouble affecting his ability to effectively defend there. It's a 6-point Crandall lead. 5 seconds left now in the quarter. Can Holland cut into this lead? Rossiter lost the handle on it, and the clock's just going to run out on the quarter. Strong defense by Jaden Lucas getting in the way of that one. And going into the fourth quarter, Crandall clinging to a 6-point lead. We'll step aside and catch our breath and rejoin you in a couple of minutes for what should be a thrilling fourth quarter of action here in Charlottetown. And we're about a half minute away from the fourth quarter. Very exciting game, and as Jordy and I were chatting in the quarter break, a lot of action in the third quarter, but that was the lowest scoring quarter of the game so far, only 16-12 in favor of Crandall in that quarter. Again, the last time these two teams played, it was 100-99, so we're definitely well off of that pace, but wouldn't it be something if we got back up to that total score? Nothing would surprise me with these two teams based on the last couple of years. Again, Ray, Jordy, and Matt, the command crew, or the control crew here in Holland College. Last home game, last basketball game for either team before the Christmas break. They'll play each other again right out of the Christmas break on January 10th in Moncton. Here's Jaden Johnson. Gets around Parsons, gets the layup to go, and Crandall has their largest lead of the game. 8-point lead for Crandall. Jaden Johnson has stepped it up here in the second half from an offensive standpoint. As Rossiter gets it to Jareel Tomlinson. Didn't hear much from Tomlinson in the third quarter after he exploded for 12 in the first half. Culberson reverse layup gets it to go. And that'll open up a double-digit lead. That's the fourth foul of the game on Darrell Bedminster as well, so Nehemiah Arnold will come into the game for him, but Ethan Culberson, again, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Make that 9 for 9. Arnold now with it for Holland, gets it to Dawkins. Dawkins tries to go up and over Johnson. Parsons got the rebound, but it's knocked out of his hands. McIntosh bounce pass to Jaden Lucas. Gets it back to McIntosh. Johnson for Jack Way. Nobody in the paint for a few seconds on that possession for Crandall, as they're happy to run the perimeter with it. They come away empty-handed, but with an 11-point lead. There's a foul called on Jack Way. Quispam-Sis native, the guilty party there. Crandall now with an 11-point lead. Remember, all the way back in the first quarter, they trailed by 11 in the early stages. But then found their footing and have climbed up to this 61-50 lead. We're getting some floor maintenance being handled by the officiating crew right now. Right back into the action. Arnold looking for someone, gets it to Jareel Tomlinson. Spins in the paint, underhand layup, doesn't go. We're going to get a foul called by the far official on Colby McIntosh. It's his third foul of the game. And Jareel Tomlinson will go to the line to try and cut into this lead. Tomlinson good on his first attempt. He's up to 15 points on the evening. Making a nice even 16 for Jareel Tomlinson. And a last-minute sub, Tomlinson for Tomlinson. And Hutton harassed there by Dawkins, but Dawkins a little too aggressive on that. Mentioned it a couple times. It's a really, really high-energy battle between these two. Very different players. Bring very different energy to the battle, but Dawkins up to 3 fouls in the game. And they'll go right back at it again. Hutton gets around Dawkins this time. Gets it to Way. Jack Way again. Nobody in the paint for Crandall right now. Way tries to crash the rebound, but Bashawn Ford, big man in the paint, he's slow getting up. He fell awkwardly, but still managed to get the rebound. Rossiter drives the baseline, goes up with it. A lot of things happening there, a lot of contact, a lot of hands on the ball. They're going to rule it a jump ball in favor of Holland. Ten seconds on the shot clock for Holland to work with. Ford takes the inbound. Tried to get it right back to Arnold. Turned over to Jack Way. And Vashawn Ford will get called. Oh, sorry, Nehemiah Arnold called for the foul there. I thought they were going to get Ford. Two minutes into the fourth quarter, 9-point Crandall lead. Lucas for three. Capitalizes on that. Again, the leading three-point shooter by percentage coming into this game in the ACAA, and Jaden Lucas showing his skill there. It's a 12-point Crandall lead, biggest lead either team has had in this game, as Dawkins looks to cut into that. And the basket's going to count by Dawkins. And it's going to be Vashon Ford, I think, called for the foul. Jordy telling me it was a pretty clear push in the paint after Dawkins put the shot up. So that's why the basket stands. It's a 10-point game. 7.5 minutes to play in regulation. Lucas made a big three-pointer a minute ago. Puts the dribble down. Hutton misses the layup. He can't believe it. Maybe he couldn't believe he was so wide open, and that's going to be a foul on Colby McIntosh. I believe that's the fourth on him. And he'll quickly get subbed out. And we have a timeout called by Holland College. Ethan Culberson, by my count, is up to 20 points in this game. We have a whole series of players from both teams sitting at 3 or 4 fouls. Owen Parsons is up to a game-high 7 rebounds for Holland College. Not totally out of his character to be at or near the top in that category. And Darrell Bedminster, who does have 4 fouls in this game, is on the floor for Holland. So we'll see if he's someone that Crandall will choose to attack when they get possession. And it's another offensive foul on Vashon Ford, perhaps for a moving screen. Inbound to Hutton, and worth noting, 7 minutes left in the game. Crandall already has the benefit of the bonus, as Holland quickly up to 5 fouls. The opening 3 minutes of the quarter is Culberson off the back of the rim. Ford battling for the rebound. It's Rossiter who comes away with it. He pulls up for a jumper. That's no good. Rebound bounces around, finds its way to Jason Tomlinson. He hands it to Rossiter. Rossiter, calm, cool, and collected with the ball in his hands. Gets it to Dawkins. Pulls up for a jumper. Nothing but net for Zach Dawkins. bit of a quiet night as far as Dawkins is concerned. Only 13 points for Zach Dawkins, one of the leading scorers in the conference coming into this game. Lucas back for Rennie. Rennie for three. Caleb Rennie has his second three-pointer of the game. Opens up another double-digit Charger lead. Bedminster can't get the layup to go. What an effort by Bedminster to get it back, though. Nobody saw Bedminster coming, flashing out of nowhere to steal that ball, keep it in play, and get it back in bounds to Vashon Ford. Parsons back into the game, giving Holland now a clear size advantage on the court. Does big Owen Parsons. Leaves it for Dawkins. Dawkins lost the handle on it, and that's going to be off of Dave Hutton and out. Wasn't quite sure who had last touch on that. .11 seconds on the shot clock to work with for Holland College. 5:49 left in the fourth quarter. 67-56. Crandall with the lead. They've led since late in the second quarter. Teams traded leads briefly at the start of the third, but Crandall has been building a solid lead since then. Here's Dawkins, long range two to cut into the lead as he's starting to heat up now. He's got 8 points in the second half, and we're going to get a travel called on Caleb Rennie. And with the deficit cut to single digits, Holland with a nice extra possession here to try and cut into it. Dawkins almost lost the handle and draws a foul call on Dave Hutton. And a warning issued to Tim Kendrick, the head coach of the Hurricanes. Definitely a lot of contact on Dawkins leading towards that foul call. Parsons down low for Dawkins. Good patience there. Nice block by Jaden Johnson, but Caleb Rennie from the baseline, or on the baseline, I should say. Quick inbound by Bedminster. Parsons spins and shoots. And he's going to be a key figure for Holland College if they want to come back into this game. Again, a very clear size advantage presented by Owen Parsons. Rennie over to Hutton. Jaden Lucas doing jumping jacks by himself on the far side of the court, but don't know if Hutton would have the ability to get it back to him. Now Lucas gets it. And the leading three-point shooter does it again. He's got 3 of them in the game. Opens up another 10-point lead. Rossiter, what a move by Spencer Rossiter to outweight a couple of defenders as the back-and-forth action continues here into the fourth quarter. Dawkins with a turnover. Rossiter waited too long for it. And we're going to get a football called. It's going to be Holland College football. I thought Rossiter was the one who booted it out of bounds. I think he might have thought that as well initially, but it is going to be Holland College ball. Parsons with it, looking for an outlet. Gives it to Dawkins. Dawkins goes behind the back, lost the handle for a moment, gets it back. And Dawkins Mentioned a minute ago, it was a quiet game by his standards. He's already up to 17 points in the game now, so almost right on his average of 19 coming in. And it's a 6-point game, under 4 minutes to go. Jaden Johnson, wide open three, well off the mark, collected by Dalrymple. And it's Darrell Bedminster. He charges in, blocked there by Jaden Johnson. Culberson up ahead for Rennie. Gives it right back to Culberson. Rennie swings it over to Hutton. A lot of shooters on the court for Crandall right now. Here's one of them, Jaden Lucas. 3 misses, and Parsons with the rebound. Just over 3 minutes left, still a 6-point game. Bonus is about to become a very real thing for both teams. Nice steal there by Jaden Johnson, cutting in front of Owen Parsons. And now Culberson with 3 minutes left. He'll be content to slow things down a little here. Hutton for Johnson. Cuts in on the big man Parsons. Nice basket there by Jaden Johnson. He's got 10 points off the bench. And we're going to get a timeout called, I believe, by Holland College. 2:46 on the clock in an 8-point game. As we continue to go back and forth at a furious pace. Ethan Culberson up to 20 points. Jaden Lucas at 17 off the bench for Crandall. Zach Dawkins at 17, Jareel Tomlinson at 16, Owen Parsons at 12 for Holland College. And again, the size of Owen Parsons, measuring in at 6'8", could be a big difference maker down the stretch here for Holland. He's got a game high 8 rebounds in the game. He's got 12 points, many of them coming from in tight. And we've referenced it a few times throughout this game. It's always exciting. It's always close when these two teams play. Crandall won by 1 point in their first meeting of the year back in November. And we could be in for a very similar finish in an 8-point game with 2:46 to go. Bedminster leaves it for Dawkins. 3-point shot for Zach Dawkins, not enough on it. Good strong rebound by Jareel Tomlinson. Owen Parsons goes up, gets the second chance opportunity. And now it's a 6-point Crandall lead. And I think we're going to get a block called on Darrell Bedminster. That's, I believe, his 5th. And it is, in fact, the 5th foul on Bedminster, so we will not see him for the balance of the game and because of the bonus. Dave Hutton will go to the line to shoot 2. And it's going to be Fabian Colley coming into the game. Hutton makes it look easy on the first attempt. That's, believe it or not, that's his first point of the second half. He had 11 in the first half. And now he's up to 13 in the game as he calmly goes 2 for 2 from the line. Restores the 8-point Charger lead. Dawkins for Tomlinson. Tomlinson spins, Hutton all over him. And as a result, Jareel Tomlinson will go to the line for 2. And that's the 4th foul on Dave Hutton now in the game with 2:14 to go. And Tomlinson, calm, cool, and collected, cutting into this lead, but time starting to become a factor. He goes 2 for 2. Once again, we sit at a 6-point Crandall lead. Approaching the 2-minute mark. Nice pass to Jaden Johnson through some traffic. Culberson with it again. Kicks it back for Jaden Lucas. Lucas for Hutton. Up top for Rennie. Rennie drives the lane. Just lost the handle on the ball. Right to Jareel Tomlinson. Spencer Rossiter back the other way. He'll step into a 3-pointer. A little too much on it though. And it's Johnson back the other way for Crandall, and a foul taken there by Fabian Colley. And Johnson will go to the line to shoot a pair of free throws. 1:40 left now. And Johnson, in a 6-point game, can make it as much as 8 with his foul shots upcoming. And off the back of the rim on the first one. And that one off the front of the rim, so good foul there by Colley to send Johnson to the line. Dawkins quickly back the other way, can't get the basket to go. And Culberson takes the second chance rebound away. 1.5 and counting. Still a 6-point Crandall lead, and they'll be content to really slow things down here. Great steal there by Parsons. Bounces it off of Lucas. Looked like Lucas might have been the last one to touch it. Replay from our angle is pretty inconclusive. It's a really good effort by Parsons to bounce it off of Lucas. Just can't see from here where our camera's located if it hit Parsons a second time or not. But Crandall will have 11 seconds on the shot clock with 1:19 left and a 6-point lead. Nonetheless, great effort by Parsons to at least create that turnover opportunity. Worth noting as well, according to the in-stadium scoreboard, Holland is out of timeouts. Again, it'll be Crandall ball coming out of the timeout, 11 seconds on the shot clock. Crandall taking their time coming back from that timeout. Lucas inbounds it to Jaden Johnson. Johnson trying to get around Parsons and does. Lucas thought about putting up a shot. Rennie will with time winding down on the shot clock. And that will be a shot clock violation as Rennie unable to get much on that as it sails through the baseline. Rossiter will bring it ahead for the Canes. Down 6. 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. Rossiter goes behind the back, gets around Lucas. What a play by Spencer Rossiter. And a travel called on Ethan Culberson in a 4-point game with 53 seconds left. And Crandall's going to use one of their timeouts. So 53 seconds on the clock. Holland now only down 4. Back and forth game. Crandall trailed by 11 in the first quarter. Then built a 12-point lead here in the fourth quarter. And now it's down to 4. And Holland has the ball with 53 seconds left. And a big time chance to cut into the deficit. And Holland is going to be taking the ball at the midcourt line. And now Holland is taking their time coming out of the timeout. Crandall with one timeout remaining. And you know they're hoping to not have to use it. Zach Dawkins will inbound it to Spencer Rossiter. Rossiter leaves it for Dawkins, the two leading scorers for the Hurricanes on the season. Rossiter thought about a 3, now gets it back to Fabian Colley. That's off the mark, and Jaden Johnson turns it over to Spencer Rossiter. They can't capitalize though, and with 30 seconds left, it's still a 4-point Crandall lead. And a foul committed there by Jareel Tomlinson. And we're going to get a technical called on Zach Dawkins, a late one. And this has been building for most of the game between Dawkins and Hutton. Hutton's gotten the better of most of these encounters, and Dawkins now the recipient of a technical, which could be a costly one in such a tight game, as Caleb Rennie capitalizes on the foul, the technical foul shot. And that's also going to be Dawkins' 5th foul of the game, I believe. And they're going to take their 30-second timeout to discuss things. Dave Hutton, calm, cool, and collected from the free throw line. Hasn't missed one yet today, and that's opened up now a 6-point lead. Make it 7. So with 25 seconds left, that foul and technical combination couldn't have come at a worse time for the Hurricanes. Rossiter puts up a three. That's off the mark. Hutton takes the rebound, gets it to Caleb Rennie. He gets it up ahead for Jaden Johnson. And Crandall's going to try and kill the clock here. And they will do just that. Coming into Charlottetown and going into the Christmas break on a winning note. And move past Holland in the standings. And also now have the benefit of a tie break, having won both matchups so far. They'll still play one more time January 10th after the Christmas break. So Crandall improving to 3-4 on the season, dropping Holland down to 2-5 going into the Christmas break. On behalf of Ray and Jordy and Matt and everyone else here at Holland College, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. We'll see you in 2026. Thanks for spending some of your Friday night with us here in Charlottetown. And once again, we'll see you in 2026 as we continue the ACAA basketball season.